Yo, what is up, Giants football scouting? We're back at it again. Today we're going to be looking at the day three New York Giants draft class analysis. We're going to be starting off with Darnay Holmes out of UCLA, the corner, and yeah. So Holmes is I don't know. I don't really like this pick in general, because I just did not like what I saw in film. He's a pretty good athlete, in the fact that he's pretty quick and he's good in zone. Just an overall good athlete. He'll probably be a nickel guy, for the New York Giants. Um, it fits good for us because he is one of those small, shifty, little corners, and we mainly have big physical DBs like Baker and Bradbury. So it'll be nice to have a little bit of variation. Have one of these short, speedy, quick guys you see there as he gets a pick six. It looks like, and yeah, he's very agile and can make some guys miss when he gets the ball. And yeah, um, he's not very physical. He's horrible in press. Gets beat a lot. Sometimes his height hurts him. He's not very doesn't have a great amount of length, and he is 5'10", so it's not like he's a big guy. But at the same time, that's kind of good for the Giants because sometimes you need he's probably going to be the quickest corner on our roster, which is good to have. I think it's a little bit of a reach in the fourth round, or not a reach, but I feel like it just wasn't a great pick in the fourth round. We have more needs, and there were some good guys there. I mean, could have got Weaver there, somebody like that. But overall, I didn't really like this pick. I gave it a C plus. I generally just don't really like Holmes that much. But yeah, I'll try to watch some more film, and maybe watching a couple more games will change my mind. Next, we got Shane Lemieux out of Oregon, the guard. He's a mauler in the run game. To think of this little trio of Thomas, Hernandez, Lemieux, they're all maulers. It's gonna be nasty. If we can get a mauler at center next year too, man, or man, we'll have a great O line, man. I'm telling you, if we get a center, it's a top 10 offensive line. He's very good in the run game. He's an Ironman athlete. He never missed a game. I believe he was It was a 3 or 4 year starter, and he never missed a game. He never missed a start due to injury. I think it was 54 games straight that he played, which is always good to have. He was a good leader by all accounts, according to coaches and players. Said he was a really good teammate. So it's always good to get these good locker room guys. Yeah, he has no injury history and is a good person. That's all good traits there by Shane Lemieux. NFL Network gave him a 6.17, which is very impressive. Getting that grade out of a fifth-round talent guy. And yeah, that's really impressive because 6.17 says a starter in 1 to 2 years. However, he's not the best athlete, and his arms are pretty short, which will give him a little bit of a disadvantage. That's one reason that I like Thomas so much. His arms are pretty long, and that's why I really love Matt Pert, because of his long arms. He has the longest arms in the draft. So yeah, I gave Shane Lemieux a B plus. It would have been an A if any other year. If we would have got a guy like Shane Lemieux next year, let's say next year he was still eligible, in the fifth round, he would be a slam dunk. It's just, he won't really affect 2020 unless Zeitler or Hernandez goes down with injury, or he can play center, man. If he can play center, top 10 O line, I'm telling you. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see when he finally gets to play. He's in a similar situation to Matt Pert, where he's probably not going to get to play his first year or two in the NFL. But yeah, man, I really like Shane Lemieux. Give it a B plus. For this next one, I believe it's 6th round at this point. Early 6th round, we get Cam Brown, which I didn't really like this pick. There were some good guys here in the 6th round. and we picked Cam Brown. I said he's a solid athlete. Um, Not like an Isaiah Simmons jump off the page kind of guy. He has a really good has a really good amount of hit power. He'll really lay it on you, just bang. Um, he seems to force the ball loose a lot, which is always nice to have that on the defense. I think he can for sure make the roster, and yeah, he has a little bit of a blitz ability. Um, they have him listed as an outside linebacker, but he could probably play some inside. He has a really good high football IQ with a good motor. He does have that connection to our D-line coach who's from Penn State. He's not a coverage guy at all, though. You know, he's just a 1980s style linebacker. No coverage skills. Penn State did run a 4-3, and we run a 3-4, so I'm really not sure how much the scheme is going to really fit. But as you see here from the highlights, man, he forces some fumbles, which is very impressive. And yeah, I think he could get some special teams play time next year. I think he'd be a really great player to have on your special teams unit. And yeah, overall, very impressed with Cam Brown. I gave him a B minus, or it could probably be a B, honestly. I think he could be a good special teams player for us. And yeah, I like that pick there. Now we move into our 7th round selections. We got Carter Coughlin, I believe out of Minnesota. A common theme with these draftees for the Giants is a lot of high football IQ, man. These guys know what to do, and they got a good amount of play rec. But yeah, Carter has really good football IQ. He's an okay athlete, and he has an impressive amount of tackles for loss, man. I mean, I think his junior year he had 16, I believe, and overall has good production throughout his college career, even though he may not be that talented. He has bad bend when rushing the quarterback, so I don't know how much he profiles as an actual edge rusher. So yeah, he'll probably end up just being an inside run stuffing linebacker. His sacks declined a lot. His second season, man, part of the voice crack. But he went from I believe it was 9 to 4.5 his junior to senior year in just 2 less games. And he looks pretty not very strong on film. Yeah, I gave Carter Coughlin a C. I just don't love the pick. But then again, it is the 7th round. Really can't be expecting a lot in the 7th round. What's funny though is I was wondering if his dad or his grandfather or something was Tom Coughlin, and what's funny is his grandfather is Tom Coughlin. It's just not the same Tom Coughlin. It's a different Tom Coughlin, not the head coach. But yeah, then we move into our second of 4 7th round picks as we go T.J. Brunson. And all I really have on T.J. Brunson is that he was a good locker room guy, and he's very physical. It's good to have guys like that on your team. Really helps build the culture in there. If he maybe you re-sign him, have him there for 6 years, and he really is a guy you build your culture around, which is really good to have. And he's a pretty good tackler too. All of his stats decline. I mean, total tackles, TFLs, sacks, everything declined from his junior to his senior year. He falls a lot for these play fakes, man. I saw a lot on film, him getting faked out. He's not great in coverage overall, and he's by no means an edge rusher. I gave this a C+. It's the 7th round, man. I like that he's a locker room guy, but to be honest, I don't know if he is a contributor. I don't know if he'll make the roster or not. And if he does, it's mostly because of his personality. But the T.J. Brunson pick is okay there. Next, we have Chris Williamson, also out of Minnesota, like Carter Coughlin. He's a former receiver turned corner, so he has a good feel for where these routes are gonna go, and he seems to really figure out and diagnose what route receivers are running. He has good straight line speed. He's pretty physical for a guy that's pretty quick. So in a way, I feel like I like Chris Williamson over Dante. What's it? Dante. I always forget his last name. Dante Holmes. I think I honestly like Chris Williamson over Dante Holmes. But once again, I'm gonna watch some more film on Dante Holmes. Maybe I just saw a bad game. But yeah, this Chris Williamson guy is really good, man. He knows the routes. He can predict the routes. He's physical. He's pretty quick. He can find the ball. You see a lot of plays of him, swatting the ball away, getting these pass deflections. His only real con is that he doesn't have a lot of length. And, he didn't really get those interceptions in Minnesota, man. He had 2 in 3 years, which is not great, obviously. But he can find the ball, and overall is a pretty lockdown slot guy. I think he could. I think it'll be a good competition between him and Haley and Beal, and Holmes. Really fighting for that slot cornerback spots. And yeah, I gave that a B minus. I really like that pick there. I could have gave that a B, but yeah, I really like that pick there. Next we have Tay Crowder. Tay Crowder out of Georgia was Mr. Irrelevant this year, man. And he had good production, at Georgia. And overall, I don't think he's a great player. But he was a big part of what that Georgia defense did. Why it was so good. And he put up good numbers doing it. I don't know what grade to give my man Tay Crowder. I'll probably just give it, a nice generic C. I don't think I don't know if he'll make the roster, to be honest. And I don't think he's ever going to get snaps as an actual linebacker. Realistically, there's Cam Brown could be a solid player. Moving on, we have a couple of UDFAs that I just got the noties about. And yeah, we got, as you can see on the screen, Javon Leak out of Maryland. I really like this pickup. I think he could be a good return man for us. He got Conference Return Specialist of the Year, as he had 2 return touchdowns, and he ranked 3rd in the FBS for yards on returns, which is really good. So he could be our return man for next year, which is pretty nice out of the undrafted free agent pool. He only had 6 starts at running back, but when he started, he was really good. He was very productive when he actually got to play. He averaged 7.2 yards a carry, which is very, very good. And I think he could be a good 3rd or 4th guy, competing with Wayne Gallman for a running back, backup running back spot. And I really think he could be our return specialist. He has some really good speed and elusiveness. And there's not the only really knock I could find on him was that he doesn't really have that experience. He only had 6 starts in his senior year, which is not great. But I think he could be something for us. Next is Austin Mack. He's 6'1", not a great athlete, but at least finally got the receiver we've been begging for since about the 4th round. Honestly, the 3rd round. Honestly, some people have been begging for it since the 3rd round. But we finally get a receiver, and it's Austin Mack out of Ohio State. He's a very talented, athletic guy, but he just never really got the production, That's a really good catch, man. I think he has some good, he has a good ceiling, He's a very talented dude. It's just a matter of fact if he can put it together or not, If he can figure out how to, finally start putting together a good amount of stats, I think he could really be a good dude. A good 4th or 5th receiver for us, maybe. And, yeah, I really like Austin Mack. I was hoping for somebody that was 6'2 to 6'4. Mack 6'1, 6'2 range. So he's a little bit on the shorter end, but he's a very good athlete. And I think he could be used very well in Jason Garrett's system, similar to how Dez Bryant was used. And yeah, man, I really like this draft class. And yeah, man, Gettleman did a really good job, man. He pleased the fans this year. The last 2 years have been some gambling picks that worked out, but this year, man, really impressed us. And gotta say, man, Gettleman did a good job. I would give this draft class, an A minus. I really like what we did. We shored up the offensive line everywhere but center. And yeah, man, I'm really impressed, man. We got the offensive lines pretty much, set for the future. And we improved that secondary. I think the secondary is pretty locked down now. I think our defense is it's gonna be a lot better this next year. And I think our offense, just the offensive line being better, will just help. We didn't really get any skill players, per se. Mainly just offensive linemen, but just offensive linemen are such a big part of offense that Andrew Thomas will help. And so yeah, man, I could see us being a sneaky, solid team next year. Anywhere from I don't know. I would project like 6 to 8 games next year, maybe win wise. Maybe if we bring back a solid edge rusher for 1 year. Yeah, but for sure, man, I could see us being a 6 to 8 win team, and I would not be mad at all, man. I think we could be sneaky good next year.